All right, Stephen K Peeples here, and landing on People's Place for a Q&A with me is Peter Blachley, who is a country artist of soon-to-be major repute, we hope. But this is his album. It's called Nevada Sky, and there's a bunch of great stories behind it. It's a great record, and there's somebody here that wants to tell us what she thinks about it, too.
I actually heard this album, and I really liked it a lot. It's great. Buy it.
Super. Thank you.
Fabulous. That was great, Patty.
Thank you. All right, so we're back here with Peter Blachley. We're talking about Nevada Sky. Now, Peter, this album was in the works for quite some time. How long did it take you to get it together?
Oh, I think around 50 years, if I remember.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a long time, yeah.
Now, you and I go back a long time. We do. But I really want to focus on the record. But I remember when I first knew you, you had like a 58 Chevy.
I did.
Pickup?
An old fleet side, 58 Chevy fleet side pickup truck. Yep.
Turquoise and white.
Turquoise and white, yep. Okay. And one of the doors wouldn't shut, so I had it roped off with a rope tied around
I remember that well.
Yeah.
I used to get in and out of there just manually.
Yeah.
But the story about that and how it ties in with the cover art here is that you drove that from wherever you came from out to Hollywood because you wanted to be a musician and you wanted to be a recording artist, right?
To be in the well, you know, I was a musician for many years before that, and I was playing all over the Bay Area, all over San Francisco, New York. We did a tour up and down the East Coast, and I was a writer, but it just wasn't happening for me at that time. And so I said, well, pick up the phone one day, and I said, maybe I should go to work for the record business. So I could pick up the phone. I called, I think the first thing was Columbia. I said, hey, you hiring? And they said, no, not really. I said, all right. So I think I got the C Capital, called them up. I said, hey, are you hiring? And they said, yeah, what do you do? And I hadn't thought it through that far. I really hadn't. And something came through my head, and I said, shipping. And they said, well, we just happen to have an opening in the mailroom. Why don't you come down tomorrow? So I got in my old pickup truck, and I went bouncing down Fountain Avenue. I lived in West Hollywood at the time. Went bouncing down the tower, parked right in front, walked inside, and had my interview, and within about 5 days, I was working in the mailroom.
Crazy. And how long were you in the mailroom before you moved upstairs?
Well, I was in the mailroom, physically in the mailroom. I was only there for maybe 5 days because what happened is that they had an old warehouse in downtown Glendale, and they needed somebody to go out there and ship the merchandising, posters and t-shirts, you know, all the stuff they used to do in those days, all to all their district offices all over the country. So they said to all the guys, hey, we got this job out there, and of course all the guys in the mailroom had a lot more seniority than me. Says, no way, I'm staying here in the tower, this is where the action is. I said, okay, you're the last one hired.
You're it.
You're it. So they put me out in the warehouse. Well, what happened, that job reported to a whole different area, which was marketing of the company, which gave me a more of a direct line. And so I did, I guess I did a good job, because in 9 months they promoted me and brought me back into the Capitol Tower. And all the guys in the mailroom said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm going up to my office on the 9th floor.
Yeah, there you go.
And so there I was.
All right, well, so you made it to California, you made it to LA, you made it into the record business, but it still took quite a long time to be able to mount this project.
Right. Well, at that time in the record business, I was just having so much fun. I loved the business side of it. I love what I was doing.
This is the late 70s, early 80s.
This was late 70s, and then in the 80s, I was promoted into the video division in 1980.
Right.
And that's when everything was just starting MTV, and they said, hey, you're going to New York, you're going to meet George Thorogood, you're going to get in together with a crew and a producer and everything, and you're going to put together, we're doing this video called Bad to the Bone. So I go to New York, and I get all the crew together, and we shoot Bad to the Bone with Willie Moscone and Bo Diddley.
Yeah,
and it was a great video. I'm in it. I'm one of the pool players because we needed some extras. And then the next day, hey, by the way, we got a band in New York. Since you're there, we want you to go over and deal with them. They're called the Stray Cats, and we're doing a video called Rock This Town. So I got to work on Rock This Town, and then it took us 10 years of doing video shoots. And
one fun project after another. And
pinch me, man. It was a perfect job.
Wow. Yeah.
So I wasn't really in a hurry to go do music again, because I figured I got a great job, I'm making good money, and I'm in the music business, but a lot of the bands I was meeting, especially the ones that first time just got signed, the record didn't make it, man, they're pumping gas again. I said, well, I don't have to pump gas right now.
Right.
So I just kind of went for that whole run,
Well, the fact that you made it out here in this pickup, and it's on the cover.
Yeah, a Henry Diltz photo.
That's a Henry Diltz photo.
Right. Yeah.
And it just, this really kind of nutshells Peter's story right there.
True.
And I really, really think that's a great photo. The back photo is not bad either, also by Henry.
Yeah.
But let's jump to the sessions. I listened to the record, and to be honest with you, I've known you for so long. I never heard you sing, and when I heard those mellifluous tones, when I heard that voice, I thought, damn, this is world class. This isn't some amateur job by a friend of mine. This is like, I could write about this and feel legitimately like this is a viable thing. I loved it. We played, Nadine and I drove to, went on a little road trip, and we couldn't, I think we played it 3 times in a row before we said, okay, let's try something else.
Wow, thank
you.
So
that's a good imprimatur. But what we really liked was the stories. And the way that the music works with the stories, as opposed to, having like flashy musicians who, want to make a big guitar solo where it doesn't need to be made. The music, the production serves the songs. And I thought that was a key reason why we liked it, because it didn't sound like all the other quote unquote country stuff that's on the radio these days.
Formulaic, yeah. I've never been a formulaic writer. Years ago, publishers say, hey, look, Peter, if you want to make it, here's what you have to write. You got to write beginning, boy meets girl. Then there's a bridge conflict, but they come back together and they resolve it at the end. And I want you to listen to this artist, and write like they do. And I go, why? Why do I want to write like this? Some of my favorite writers, songwriters, and this is going back to the guy Jon Stewart, who's one of my heroes.
Yeah.
Those guys, they were writing from their head. They were writing from their own experiences, but in a way where they didn't want to sound like somebody else. Like Miles Davis says, man, get your own style. You got your own style. And so, what I was doing when I went to New York and I started Morrison Hotel Gallery was that I had some friends that were back there, and they encouraged me. One day I had my guitar and I was playing, and they said, "Wow, man, you're good. You should record this." I said, "Really?" And they said, "Yeah. Matter of fact, I know a producer. I know a guy that should meet you." And so they introduced me to Felix McKee, who was the producer, and he heard my stuff and said, "Peter, this is great. Let's do something." Oh, okay, wonderful. And at the time as well, being in the gallery, I had been able to work with a band called Olabelle.
Yes.
And Olabelle is an amazing group of musicians. It's Amy Helm, who was Levon Helm's daughter, and Fiona McBain, who was on my album, and a number of other musicians. And they knew me, and they knew what I was trying to do. And I just went to them and I said, "Guys, I'd love to do this project now. I've got a whole bunch of songs I've written over the years, but I've got some new ones that I've written as well, and I think it's time for me to do this project." So Felix worked with me. We got all these people together, and we cut the tracks at Saltland Studio in Brooklyn. And we did half the album one year, and the next year we finished it up and did the other half. So the first year, I had some really interesting musicians on it. I had Brian Isaacs on bass, who was in Olabelle. He's toured with Joe Baez, he's really great. And then I had Chris Masterson, who's Steve Earle's guitar player. Chris is brilliant. He can do anything. And then I had, of course, Toling Leone, the drummer from Olabelle, and Fiona, the vocalist. So that group of musicians, when I heard them start to interpret the songs, and Felix and I would sit down with the song and say, "You know what, maybe we should change this, let's put this here, put that there." The craft of writing, as they say. And it really started to come together, and so I did those first 4 songs. And then I had to do a bunch of other stuff. I had to take a break from it for a while. And then when I came back again, Chris was out with Steve Earle, so he wasn't available. So I got David Mansfield.
Too bad.
Jeez, David is just...
He's a monster.
So he was recommended to me, he says, Peter, he can play anything with a string and better than most people. And it's true. When he came into it, it just changed the whole
Alpha
flavor.
Band, Bob Dylan, Rolling Thunder, etc.
Johnny Cash. Yeah, I mean, amazing player. So David came in to do the guitar work, and then I got keyboard player, Southside Johnny. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
All right, so the keyboard player from Southside Johnny.
Southside Johnny, yeah. And so we had a great lineup of musicians, and so we did the whole second half of the album a year later. And when it was finished, and I said, okay, here it is. But I said, you know what? I want to do vinyl. I want this thing to be vinyl. I'm old school. I'm from the old school. So we went down to Nashville, and I had it pressed in Nashville. And they did a nice job. I think I do CD. So I have CD and vinyl.
Right. Well, let's talk. I want to do, if you don't mind, a song by song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk a little bit about each of the tunes.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Starting with Big Old Train. It's kind of a I mean, it's a great relationship song.
If you tell me where we're going, I'll tell you where we've been. That came from my fiance at the time, who is now my wife. Susan, we were on a train going across the United States, and when you get in the little roomettes, they call them, you seat facing each other.
Right.
So Susan sits down, and I sit down, and she's facing the back of the train, I'm facing the front. And so she says to me, oh, if you tell me where we're going, I'll tell you where we've been. And that is a song.
I got to write that down right now.
Exactly, and I had my little travel guitar. I said, so all during the trip, noodling and stuff, I got a song here, Susan. So I wrote that song all the way out on the train.
Nice.
And it really all came together very easily, so it worked out great. But it's really about a relationship. The train is
it's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor for a relationship.
But see, that's a good way to start out a country album, though. With a song about a train.
Great metaphor.
Yeah, right. Okay.